heaven and hell turned out not to be real, but God was still real, what will be your reaction? Will you still worship him? This is a very interesting question that a lot of believers, a lot of Christians, a lot of people that even believe in God might have asked themselves. Because a lot of times our worship and our belief in God tend to be hinged on the fact that there's a reward afterwards. That is heaven or hell. So people tend to do things not because they truly love God or because there's truly that reverence for him, but because there's a reward afterwards. And it applies to our normal physiology as Christians. Normally, when a reward is put in front of a person, there's a tendency that you're going to perform better. But there's another question I ask myself, which is, after my life here on earth, would I have lost anything by worshiping God on earth? Even though it turns out that there's no heaven, there's no hell at the end of the day. And the answer is simply no. Because the thing is, when you are worshiping God in spirit and in truth, when you are truly a Christian, I'm not talking of eye service or any other performative thing that we tend to do as believers. I'm talking about real Christianity, someone who walks in Christ, someone who has tried their best to live their lives for Christ all through their life and then goes and dies and then finds out that heaven or hell is not real. I don't think you would have lost anything because you would have just lived a good life. You would have just lived a life that was righteous at the end of the day. You would have lived a full life. So whether heaven or hell is real or not, the fact remains that you living your life in Christ is always going to be beneficial unto you because it shapes your life into something better and gives you a very meaningful and fruitful life. So I would like to know what you think about this. Would you still believe in God in a situation where heaven and hell turned out not to be real, but God himself was real, and you could choose whether to live your life based on his dictates or just to live your life anyhow? It's a very, very tricky question, and I don't really believe that anyone can truly honestly answer that question except it turned out that that was really the case. But we can always just probe our minds and try to give ourselves the most realistic answers. I believe genuinely that nothing will be lost even though you believe in Christ and end up realizing that everything was not real after all. You would have just ended up living a full and fulfilled life.